A stark warning from the U.S. State Department for Americans planning to travel to Mexico or already traveling there. Americans and local residents have been the victims of kidnappings and homicides carried out by warring drug cartels, as we have been reporting here for some time. But the U.S. State Department is not now imposing a travel ban to Mexico. Casey Wyan has our report.
The State Department's latest travel alert for Mexico warns much of Mexican territory along the U.S. border is a war zone. It says recent Mexican army and police force conflicts with heavily armed narcotics cartels have escalated to levels equivalent to military small unit combat and have included use of machine guns and fragmentation grenades.
What's happened is that the Gulf cartel just south of Texas has been decapitated, and also there have been strong blows against the Tijuana cartel. And you've got lieutenants who are fighting for the leadership of those cartels, and competitive cartels are trying to move into their turf. And so the blood is continuing to flow, and I think it will flow in larger volumes.
The updated travel alert also warns armed robberies and carjackings, apparently unconnected to the narcotics-related violence, have increased in Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez. Dozens of U.S. citizens were kidnapped and or murdered in Tijuana in 2007. Public shootouts have occurred during daylight hours near shopping areas, but it stopped short of advising Americans to avoid northern Mexico.
Ultimately, whatever warnings that we may put out, it comes down to an individual making a decision about whether or not they want to heed those warnings and take into account the information that we provide them.
The State Department also warns Americans traveling anywhere in Mexico to be wary of kidnappers, an increasingly lucrative enterprise there. It says no one can be considered immune from kidnapping on the basis of occupation, nationality, or other factors. Mexican drug cartel violence has already claimed more than 850 lives this year. The State Department says it has no evidence Americans are being specifically targeted, adding that thousands of U.S. citizens cross the border safely each day, exercising common sense precautions, such as visiting only legitimate business and tourist areas of border towns during daylight hours. Lou?
So let me see if I got this right. Kidnappings, murder, drug cartel violence, and the State Department doesn't have the guts to put an outright ban on travel for American citizens? I mean, that's outrageous. 800, I mean, it's nuts.
They're not even discussing, to my best knowledge, a ban on travel to Mexico. They haven't even gone as far as issuing a formal warning, which is a recommendation that Americans don't travel there. The State Department has formal warnings out on 28 different countries. Some of them include Syria, Sudan, Indonesia, places like that where there is danger to Americans. They're not doing that for Mexico. They say it's not necessary at this time, Lou.
Well, with that many Americans already killed and kidnapped, I'd like to see how it compares to any other country. Can we kind of check that out here tomorrow? We'll have that tomorrow to make a comparison. Because what it looks like is this administration, as has been its wont, is sacrificing both the safety of American citizens and the security of our border for commercial interests. And I'm saying that to you straight up, Mr. President, and everyone in the State Department, if you would like to take me to task, so be it. I think that this is irresponsible to deal with this as if it's some sort of travel notice. Absurd. Casey, thank you very much. An excellent job of reporting.